Greetings everyone, it is Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, wishing you a very wonderful day wherever you are in the world, wherever you're joining us from, and whatever it is you are doing. I hope that you are safe and you are well, and I hope that you are looking forward to tonight's class. Now it's tonight here in Sydney, just gone 6:30. I'm not sure where you are. Let me know where you're coming from, let me know where you're joining. I'd love to find out what's going on in your part of the world tonight as well. But we are in evening here, and it is pretty dark, and it's getting a bit cold. In fact, I just heard on the news before I went live that we're also expecting it to start to get even colder here in Australia, well, in Sydney. And I thought, what better time to share this class with you guys. I call it a genius 3-ingredient soup hack class. And hello to Tamara, who's joining us tonight. I think it's still, yeah, it must be tonight where you are too, Tamara. I'm not sure where you're, about an hour and a half behind us, I believe. But to everyone who's joining me on today's class, like I said, it's a hack class. I love hacks. I love things that are really easy to do, and they also taste amazing, and to top it all off, they're incredibly good for our body. And literally, we're going to take 3 ingredients, 3 common ingredients too. Don't think you have to go sourcing into all sorts of crazy places to get these 3 ingredients. Chances are, if you follow my recipes already, you may even have these 3 ingredients in your house already. Chances are, in fact, I might even say, I bet you have these 3 ingredients in your house already. That's how simple they are. That's how simple they are. And so hi to Christine, I just saw joining us from WA. Oh, and we have someone joining us all the way from New Jersey. Thank you. I hope you're well and safe too. And to beautiful Amber joining us from Brisbane. Beautiful day here today too. But like I said, a bit cold. So soup class. And if I'm only going to give you guys 3 ingredients, you're like, yep, we can do that. I mean, this is so simple to make. It is so simple to make. I don't even have a chopping board on my bench. Come down and see what I have. I have the 3 ingredients in front of me. Are you ready? It looks like a sauna, I know, but you'll see why in a second. So the 3 ingredients that we're going to be using today to create this soup, crazy. I'm going to be using broccoli. If you don't have broccoli, you could make, I'm going to do a broccoli soup. If you don't have broccoli, and by the way, my broccoli was frozen. This came in a bag in the freezer section of the supermarket. So I'm using frozen broccoli because broccoli is really expensive at the moment. But instead of broccoli, you could also use cauliflower florets, or you could even use zucchini. So you could make different types of soup. You can do a cauliflower soup, a broccoli soup, or a zucchini soup. I'm doing a broccoli soup tonight. And this soup is going to taste amazing because literally we're going to be using broccoli, we're going to be using salt, that's ingredient number 2, and the 3rd ingredient is what I have in my pot here. And as I was saying, if you followed my recipes for any length of time, you know that in my pot bubbling away right now, I have my kombu water. So my kombu water is basically my seaweed stock that I make. Now, why do I make seaweed stock? Why do I always bang on about it? Why do I suggest you guys all go out and find yourself some kombu, aka dried seaweed, or known as kelp? And you see I use big sheets here. This here is enough to make about 5 litres, which is over a gallon. It's over a gallon of kombu water. The reason I bang on about this is because of the goodness that's inside here. So this is very high in iron. Iron's very good for regulating your metabolism. So when you're regulating your metabolism and using this as stock, you are just getting such an amazing supercharged hit of goodness every single time you use your kombu water in your soups or your gravies or your stews or wherever it is that you want to use it, your casseroles, your curries, anywhere you would normally use water. Make your kombu. And of course the kombu recipe is in both the yellow book, Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, and the green book, more from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. So that's the kombu that I have bubbling away here, and it's literally, come closer, I want to bring it nice and close so I can get a real good steam bath. It is literally about this full of kombu water. So that's my base. Now let's just say, you know, just in case you don't have kombu, can you just use water? Yes, you can. But remember why we use kombu. We want to supercharge our metabolism, which means that you're going to go into fat burning mode. Hence why this is so cool to start to incorporate into your diet. And it's cheap and you can make lots from it. The hardest thing is it can be a little bit hard to find. So do shop around. Do ask on our private group if you are, in your location. Someone may be living near you and they may know where you can buy this. So that kombu's in there, and I've brought it to the boil. And it's about that much. Now I've got about 500 grams, which is just over a pound of broccoli florets. Remember, these are frozen. You can of course use fresh. And all we're going to do into this boiling liquid, this is simple. You don't want to blink, or you don't want to get up and move away from your phone or your laptop right now, because you'll miss the recipe. It's that quick. So we're going to take our broccoli florets, like I said, either fresh and raw or frozen, and we're just going to put them into the boiling kombu. I'm going to bring that to a boil again, because the kombu will just start to come off the boil. We're going to bring it back to the boil, and the reason why we're bringing it back to the boil is we want that broccoli to start to cook through. Remember, 3 ingredients: kombu water, broccoli. I'm going to add a bit of that salt later on. So the reason why I'm making broccoli soup, broccoli, and you guys know why I'm making, I just turned it up just to make it hurry up and boil. The reason why I'm using broccoli in today's recipe is because, yes, I got it frozen. I was very impressed by that. But the reason I love broccoli is very, very high in fiber. So it's one of those things that's going to help to keep you regular. Broccoli is really high in protein as well. If you've ever heard the old adage that our bodybuilders like to eat chicken and broccoli, the reason why they like to eat broccoli is because it's really high in protein. So yes, this is a vegan recipe, by the way. This is completely vegetarian with these 3 ingredients. But our broccoli is there because it's high in fiber, high in protein. It's also really high in iron, which once again helps with our thyroid. So you're getting a real big metabolism boost with this soup, which is crazy when you think about it. But if you wanted to do this with cauliflower, you just swap out the cauliflower. If you wanted to do it with zucchini, you just swap out for the zucchini. But you're looking at about, like I said, 500 grams, or thereabout 500 grams of our vegetable cut into florets, so ready to go. Make sure they're all evenly sliced, really important, because you want them to all cook at the same time. Now if you're putting, let's say, raw broccoli into here, freshly cut, you're probably looking at around about 4 minutes of cooking the broccoli through till it's nice and soft. You want it to get nice and soft, not too firm to the bite, or you won't get a really smooth soup. With our frozen ones, once it comes to the boil, we're probably only looking at about a minute, maybe even a minute and a half maximum to cook our broccoli once our frozen comes back to the boil. So it doesn't take very long, but it's incredibly easy to do. So I'm happy with this. I'm looking at this now. Alright, having a bit of a feel. What I'm looking for is that broccoli, I have a little poke with a fork. What I'm looking for is that broccoli is tender. Still nice and green too, look at that. You know this soup's gonna look, the color's gonna be amazing when your broccoli looks like that. So we're trying to make a green soup here too, by the way. And it just, when I do things like this, it kind of blows my mind, you know, that we can have, oh, the sound isn't very good. That's really weird. It could be that I'm right next to is that better now that I'm closer? It could be that I'm right over my cooktop here. You can see that, right over my cooktop. I was just talking about how good broccoli is. I don't know, Mahay's not listening, so he can't even tell me he can't hear it. He's just hearing me, because he's just sitting over there. It could be just that I'm close to my cooktop, closer than normal. I'll move it away, like that. Let's put it back over there. That should be better. It's just the echoes, right? It's the echoes. So I was just talking about broccoli and how good it is for us, you know, fiber and protein and iron and magnesium, and, you know, keeps us regular, you know, helps us to build muscle, keeps us, you know, oh, it sounds like a drone flying over. Yeah, it's the cooktop. I know, it's the cooktop. Can't really do much about it. Sorry guys, I'm filming on my phone, hence why sometimes we don't get a very good sound quality. Yeah, Mahay just said talk a bit louder. No, I won't talk that loud. Alright, let's have a look what's going on here. I've turned it down now because I'm just a bit worried that, you know, we don't want to miss out on all the good stuff that I potentially may be saying during this class. Alright, remember we want tender, not mushy, we want tender. So just a bit more than firm to the bite, yeah? just a bit more. Now, I've actually boiled the broccoli in lots and lots of kombu water. So I'm not going to use all that kombu water, but I'm not going to waste it either. So this is a really cool hack. This is a really cool part that you guys can see is that now that I'm turning it down even further. Oh, it's all right? It sounds good. Yeah, it was this thing. This naughty thing once I turned it up to try and bring it to the boil. What was I saying? Something about kombu. It's good. Just go and get some if you can. That's all I've got to say about that. But when it comes to saving the kombu, the leftover, because you might have a little bit of leftover kombu water, you don't have to throw it away. You can literally just filter it into a glass jar and store it in the fridge till you want to use it again. So it's a really great recipe. It's not only is it super easy to make, super cheap, super quick, but it's also make sure that there's no wastage here, which is really, really nice. There's absolutely no wastage. All right, so I reckon we're ready to go. Mahay's giving me the thumbs up. You still hear me? Sorry. Mahay's giving me the thumbs up, saying you can hear me. All right, so remember, tender, best way to tell. Just get a little nail if you got one and see if you can sort of poke it into the soft part. If it feels quite nice in there, you know that you're good to go. We don't want to cook it too much. We don't want to, I want to turn the whole thing off. Mahay, could you unplug it? Just so then we got no noise. There we go. Hey, that's better, right? Okay, cool. All right, so now that we're at this stage, I'll bring you back down to my bench to show you how we're going to finish the soup off. I told you it only takes seconds. Only takes seconds. Okay, come on down here. I've got my little pot, and I've got my colander or my strainer. And all I'm gonna do, notice how I'm not doing this over the sink, because if I did, I'd lose all my kombu water. I'm just gonna take what was in the pot, and without splashing my feet, because I've got jandals on, which is probably not wise. I don't suggest we cook in thongs or jandals at all. Or for our American friends, slippers, plastic things. We should probably cook with covered shoes, safety first. All right, I've drained it off. I have not wasted any of that kombu, really important. Now I'm gonna take my broccoli, I'm gonna put it back into my pot. And this is the part where you need to use your judgment. And when I say your judgment, it's just how do things look for you. So what you're going to do now, see how much broccoli I've got in there. I don't want to completely cover the broccoli. I want to leave a little bit of space there because I don't want to add too much liquid back into there. Otherwise it'll be watery and it won't taste very good. You kind of want to 3/4 cover the vegetables that you have in your pot. So I'll show you what that kind of looks like. You see? Oh, you can't tell. It's not submerged, put it that way. There's still a few like little heads of broccoli kind of sticking up and stuff, which is ideal. That's all you want. Because if you were to add too much liquid, it would water it down completely. And what you're going to be left with is you're just like, Bridge, that soup was not very nice. So if you want to make sure that you maintain ultimate flavor here, which is broccoli, you want to make sure you don't add too much water. So 3/4, cover your broccoli, and then just take up your little machine, one of these little blenders, or put it into a food processor if you don't have a handheld, and we're just going to give it a bit of a blend. Yes, big noise now, you may not be able to hear me for a while. Oh, it's not that big. I've got a new one. This is nowhere near as noisy as my last one. But in saying that, it doesn't seem to be as good as my last one either. Fascinating, right? Okay, so you want to create a lovely puree. And also the last thing you want to do when you're making this soup, the last thing that you want to do is to walk away when you're cooking the broccoli. Because if you overcook it, you're not going to get that fabulous green colour, which is what we're all looking for, is that wonderful green colour. I've got to tell you, I'm really unimpressed with this machine. It's really bad. Normally my machine's like bzzz, and it's really noisy, but gosh, it gets through it really quick. The reason why I don't have my other machine is because I broke it. But I had it for like 3-4 years, so I'm on the search for another good stick blender like this. Well, better than this. So what we're doing now is we're literally creating probably what could potentially be the simplest soup you will ever make. You know where I'm going with this in your life. Alright. Wow. Oh. I just saw a random one just kind of floating around there. Okay, so the cool thing here is we now have soup. Haven't tasted it yet though. Very important that you taste it. It's going to be the next stage. But I also have here that I'm not going to waste all my leftover kombu water, as you can see, which I'm just going to strain that into, when it cools down into a glass jar, I'm going to keep that because that is now kombu and a little bit of veggie stock, which is fabulous. And yes, I did use a turbo button, Tamara. That was ridiculous, right? That's look at that turbo. Ridiculous. Very unimpressed. Okay. The last ingredient for our soup, oh my goodness, is mineral or Himalayan salt. Give it a bit of a stir. This is the important part. You cannot serve it until you've had a taste. You need to know what's going on there. And I'm tasting, my gosh, it's amazing. I'm tasting broccoli. Strange that, right? You're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But I'm going to add a little bit more salt to it. Because remember, it was just literally kombu water and broccoli. And what you're doing when you're doing this tasting part is you need to, I know I doubled it with my spoon, but you know, it's for me, so that's all right. I don't think the kids will have this one. I'm happy double dipping. Oh, so keep on tasting, add a bit of salt at a time, taste, a bit more salt, have a taste until you are happy with the result. And the result is, let me tell you, pretty mind-blowing, considering we just made soup using 3 ingredients. So I'm going to spoon that up. I think I've got to, yeah. I want you guys to see what's going on here. I'm going to spoon that up. And now you can do that with cauliflower, as I said, and you can also do that with zucchini. But what else? I mean, I've given you the base. I've given you the hack of your life, which is basically broccoli, kombu water or water, and salt. And a little bit of time and you have this vibrant green soup that is just amazing. And remember that the trick here is that when you add the kombu water back to the cooked broccoli is you don't add too much water because you don't want it to thin down. If you like your soup really thick, then just add even less, maybe half the amount of water to broccoli. So you can see here already, whoopsie, gosh, gotta have a little bit of a clean. It's looking pretty awesome. But what could we add to it if you guys were like, you know, 3 ingredients is great, and you know, if I'm camping or, you know, just really haven't been shopping in a few weeks, that's fantastic. Is there other things that you can do with it? 100%. I'm going to give you guys a few ideas of what you can now do to just jazz it up a bit. Nothing stopping you from just doing that. And you know what? Wouldn't be that bad. But I've got a few things here, and we'll go through them. A few ideas of how you can jazz it up. 3 ingredients, great, done. But if you're like, oh, I've got a bit of leftover chicken, there's nothing stopping you from shredding. I've just some roast chicken. We had a roast chicken last night. You can shred some roasted chicken into it, which I'm going to do right now. Just a little bit of roasted chicken. Wonderful. You don't even have to heat it up. It can just totally just go in there in a nice little pile in the middle. You could also, and this is a little idea, if you are making the soup and you are then either freezing it, and you totally can freeze it because there's no dairy in here, right? So if you were making the soup to freeze, I would suggest that when you add just half a teaspoon of baking soda to the kombu water when you're boiling the broccoli to cook it, that'll help to lock in that color. So that's something that you could add to it. Another alternative. Something else you could add to it, and I'm going to do this. As I said, we had a roast last night. And part of the roast is we also had a bit of barbecued corn. I had some organic corn that I found at the veggie shop. So I did a little bit of an organic corn barbecue, and I've just taken it off the cob there. This is the leftovers. What's stopping you from adding a little bit of leftover vegetables into that? Now you've got chicken, corn, and broccoli soup. Amazing, right? This is going to be made into a salsa, by the way. I'm going to add tomato and make a salsa. So that's another thing you could add. Of course, when you're actually going through the cooking stages, you could be adding garlic, you could be adding roast garlic, you could be adding ginger. There's nothing stopping you from adding pepper as well if you want a bit of pepper to that. Another nice idea is just to put a little bit of coconut yogurt. You could do this sort of thing and just add a little bit of coconut yogurt like in a big blob on top of it, and that'll be delicious as you're going through this hot soup, and then you're spooning this wonderful cold coconut yogurt onto it as well. That would be just sensational. And the last thing I'm going to show you guys here is actually just a little bit of coconut milk. If you wanted it creamy, you could make the base broccoli soup like I did, the base broccoli soup, and then just to give it a little bit more, you know, creaminess to the palate, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from either adding this, a little bit of cream, coconut milk, sorry, when you blend it, or you could do this sort of thing and just add it as a final little cool drizzle on top of your soup, so you look very flash and extremely fancy. And then you once again, you get that lovely little bit of a hit of coconut. Can you guys see that? I want you to come closer. Can you? There you go. Can you see that? That looks pretty good. And there's also nothing at all stopping you from taking out your tea towel of fresh herbs and adding just to the top of it. Don't even really need to chop. Just put a few fresh herbs on there as well. And you've got the most amazing dinner. And you've got all these different types of things that you can do with it, all these things that you can add to it. I mean, go nuts, really. Whatever leftover protein that you've got can now go into your soup, but it only takes 3 ingredients. So I hope you try this out. It is phenomenally easy and awesome, and then create your soup depending on what you got in your fridge. It's very, very cool. I thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have a great night or a great day wherever you are, and we'll see you guys again really soon. Now, by the way, I'm releasing a recipe. It's a repost of a recipe that I made a couple years ago. It involves baking for anyone who's interested. It is one of my favorite baking recipes ever, healthy treats ever. I'm re-releasing that on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen tomorrow morning, so keep an eye out for that as well. All right, guys, take care, everyone. Please be safe, and we'll see you really soon. And don't forget, keep calm, just keep cooking.